I'm Veronica Marshall at the Capitol. This week on Senate Spotlight, across the state, everyday costs are rising, but that doesn't mean your property taxes have to. A new bill aims to cap property taxes at the rate of inflation, and if local governments want to raise them to pay for services,
it would have to go to the voters on a referendum, and they would have the final say.
More on how this affordability measure provides relief and empowers residents. Plus, when it comes to fighting fraud in Minnesota, this year is different.
There's been a shift. I do have faith that this will get across the finish line.
How recent changes could lead to the creation of an Office of Inspector General. That's all coming up.
Senate Spotlight is produced by the Minnesota Senate and Senate Media Services.
Minnesotans are experiencing economic pressure. Gas and grocery prices are going up. And then there's our property taxes. But Senator Michael Kreun says when it comes to improving affordability across the state, he can help with housing. Senator, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I have heard about the rise in property taxes here in Minnesota. It's been described as astronomical. What does that mean? Take me through some of these numbers.
Well, just in the last year, property taxes have increased by nearly $1 billion statewide, which is about a 7% increase from last year. So property taxes have been going up for a while, but it's becoming more acute lately. So that's why we've come up with a solution for it. And if the Minnesotans, like 87% of Minnesotans, either are very concerned or at least somewhat concerned about their property taxes. So this is one of the top issues that I'm hearing about from constituents. So that's why I put the bill together to address it.
And Senator, how did we get here?
Well, it is complicated, and there's a number of reasons. I think one of the big reasons is that we keep asking our cities and counties to do more and more without the funds that go with it. We call that unfunded mandates. And we've been placing more and more of those on our cities and counties. So that's the first thing. I have my bill, but the first thing we need to do is stop with the mandates. Stop asking our cities and counties to do more and more without the funding that goes with it.
Is that an option? Can we remove some of those mandates or roll them back?
Yeah, that is an option. The first priority is to not add more. And then we can go look at some of the existing ones and see where it makes sense to scale back. And then you couple that with my bill to cap property taxes at the rate of inflation. And I think those two things kind of go together.
Talk to me more about that bill that you're proposing.
So it would cap property taxes on cities and counties. This wouldn't apply to school districts. They have their own version of this already. But it would cap property tax growth at the rate of inflation. It would allow a little bit for growing communities, so it would be 50% of population growth as well. So for example, if the rate of inflation is 3% and a city has grown by 1,000 people, you could have a 3.5% increase on property taxes. Beyond that, it would have to go to the voters on a referendum, and they would have the final say.
Now let me just put this in terms as a non-math person.
Yeah.
So would this bill, like say, cut my property taxes? Would it stop them from rising, or both? Yeah,
so it would curb the growth. And hopefully the mandates, if we got rid of that, it would encourage cities and counties to actually reduce their property tax rates, but this bill would cap the growth. So no more surprise 7, 10, 15% increases on your property tax bill. I've been hearing from constituents in my area that they've had double-digit increases back to back to back. And those are the kind of things that make my constituents really scared about whether or not they're going to be able to stay and afford living in their house.
Yeah, I mean, you put so much effort into finding your home, into getting your house, and the thought of property taxes forcing you to leave is kind of devastating.
Right, yeah.
So you've got this bill that you're proposing. What have you heard from constituents about your bill, or from colleagues, or from the local governments themselves who are kind of relying on those funds? Right,
well, it's been mostly positive. From my constituents and homeowners in particular. They like the idea I haven't really heard much negativity towards it indirectly, and I'm sure the counties and cities are very, at least they're questioning how this is going to work, because they're concerned about, hey, you guys at the state are telling us to do more, and now you're going to cap the only way we can recoup those funds. I think when I talk about mandate relief, that puts them at ease a little bit. So it's been mostly positive. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say your bill does make it through the legislative process. How soon could Minnesotans experience relief from their property taxes?
Yeah, as early as your next property tax statement for next year, if the bill passes this year. If we wait till next year, then it would be one additional year after that.
Are there any options right now on the table for homeowners who really need relief?
Yeah, there's a couple other options in addition to an overall cap for everyone. We have a program for disabled vets that exempts a certain amount of their property value before their property tax kicks in. That number hasn't increased in like 10 or 15 years, so we need to get that number increased. We can also look at things like deferred property taxes for seniors so that they don't have to pay the increases until they sell their home later on.
And we're talking about property taxes. Obviously, that affects homeowners, but is there a wider impact? It's that $1 billion, is that impacting Minnesota's economy or people's quality of life?
It's certainly both of those things. It impacts their quality of life because they have less money to spend, and that in turn impacts the economy as well. And this is particularly true for seniors who are mostly on fixed incomes. And so when these property taxes increase 10 or 15%, their take-home pay is certainly not increasing by that amount. So that gives them less buying power, decreases their quality of life, which in turn hurts our economy.
This is part of your caucus's efforts to address affordability. Has there been interest from the other caucus in joining you guys on some of these bills?
I haven't heard anybody on the property tax bill, and my hope would be on our bill that would get rid of taxes on tips and overtime. I'm hoping there could be some bipartisan support on that. We remain hopeful on that. And then reducing tab fees is another big one that we're hearing a lot about constituents. And again, no interest yet, but we'll keep working on it.
Are you aware of any bipartisan efforts to address affordability outside of maybe that package?
I'm not aware of any right now. Certainly, I'm willing to look at anything. Affordability is a huge issue right now. Allowing people to have a little bit more of their money, to keep more of their money, I think would be really beneficial right now. So any proposal that seeks to do that, I'm happy to look at it and perhaps be a part of it.
I know that you are big on bipartisan efforts. You work with Senator Gustafson on the OIG, and you talked about working on a library bill across the aisle just because if it's a good idea, you're all for it. So I look forward to see what happens in this space.
Yeah.
Senator, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hotter summers, stronger storms, and other weather changes can wear down the state's infrastructure, leading to costly repairs the state can't cover. Senator Ann Johnson Stewart says senators received billions of dollars in infrastructure bonding requests, and if a bonding bill passes this session, it could cover 1/6 of the need. To take the burden off of taxpayers, she says the biggest polluters who are creating the climate crisis should contribute to a climate adaptation fund to provide relief and revenue.
Every one of us is paying, whether personally through increased maintenance or insurance costs, or collectively through our taxes. Regardless, we just don't have enough money anymore. The Climate Superfund will allow us to obtain revenue from the huge corporations that have caused the problem. It makes the polluters pay and relieves some of the pressure on local taxpayers and agencies that are being hit with these huge costs.
Senator Johnson Stewart says the Superfund could strengthen the state's infrastructure and create more sustainable communities by funding projects like upgrading storm sewer systems, fortifying pavement, and preventing erosion along ditches and bodies of water. The DFL-backed bill to create the Superfund, Senate File 4126, is currently waiting to be heard in the Senate's Environment, Climate, and Legacy Committee. Surprise site visits would become part of the vetting process for large state grants if a newly proposed anti-fraud bill becomes law. Senator Julia Coleman's bill, Senate File 4236, says for every grant that's over $10,000, state agencies that oversee the grant must conduct at least one unannounced on-site and in-person visit. If the funds are distributed over a period longer than 12 months, the granting agency must complete one of these check-ins during each 12-month cycle. Senator Coleman says her bill is a common-sense step towards real accountability. The bipartisan bill is currently waiting to be heard in the Senate's State and Local Government Committee. A popular bipartisan approach to preventing fraud and protecting taxpayer dollars is back again this session. Senator Heather Gustafson joins me to explain why Minnesota still needs an independent Office of Inspector General and why this is the year the bill will finally cross the finish line. Senator, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, as a refresher, you introduced the idea of the Office of the Inspector General last session, and it's back again this session. So let's remind people why we want to do that, what the office would do, what happens here?
Yeah, so it's an independent oversight authority that makes sure that all of our tax dollars are going where they're supposed to. So any public or private entity that receives public dollars, the OIG office, the Office of Inspector General office, would be able to have jurisdiction over that. And the idea is that it's that independent oversight, the ability to track patterns in agencies to make sure that vendors and recipients are operating accordingly, and just another set of hands to make sure that our dollars are being spent properly.
Seems like a very timely bill. Yeah. And last session it was embraced by the full Senate. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, we had almost the whole Senate, but it was an impressive vote, especially in a polarized chamber. We got 60 votes, which is pretty good, especially on an issue as important as this. I think we were able to do it because we brought in lots of different voices from the beginning. So I'm the chief author, and I can decide who I want as co-authors. And I made sure to bring in Republicans, and then not just bring them in to add them to the bill, but also work with them closely to determine what would make the bill stronger. Ultimately, it's my bill, and I decide what goes on it. But it was nice to have that early support, and then you see the result is that we got 60 votes in the Senate.
You mentioned different voices. One of those voices is the governor, and he has introduced his idea, the Office of the Inspector General Coordinated Council. Does that replace the need for your OIG, or how are they different?
Yeah, absolutely not. I think it was a good move to do in the interim. We weren't in session. There wasn't any legislation that you could move forward while we're not in session. But going forward, we're not looking for coordination. We're looking for oversight. And while I applaud anybody's idea to come forward and try to prevent fraud from happening or spreading, I do believe that we have the strongest position.
Senator, you mentioned you applaud any idea, and you've talked about how your bill had bipartisan support, and I know how important that has been to you. You've even said, quote, oversight should never be partisan. Your bill is just one of several aimed at combating fraud this session. Senate Republicans have their own package on how to do that, but that doesn't have a lot of bipartisan support yet. Do you expect there to be more bipartisan efforts to fight fraud this session?
Yeah, so in my first term, I've spent almost all of the years working on fraud prevention. They have not brought me any language yet. I've not seen a bill. So I would be happy to meet with any of them to look over their language and sign on if I thought it was the right policy. But I unfortunately haven't seen anything yet. So the session is new. We've got a lot of time. Hopefully some of those will make their way to my desk. But in the meantime, we have our fraud package in the Senate DFL, and I hope Minnesota's takeaway is that everybody is taking this seriously. This has been one of my top priorities for a long time, but now you see that all of us are working together, hopefully in a manner that will get a handle on what's been happening.
I also want to say about the bipartisan work with your bill, watching you and Senator Kreun work together and do press events together was almost magical. I just loved seeing that relationship and that camaraderie. Yeah. It was a really nice moment.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, a lot of politicians will say that, right? I just want to work across the aisle and get the work done. And then you just very rarely see it. If you're somebody who was never in political circles like myself, I feel like 5 minutes ago I was a high school teacher and a softball mom. So this is new, but I genuinely meant it. And I think there are people across the aisle who mean it too. So you just have to find folks that are willing to kind of put their ego aside and just work with you on a bill. But it was one of my favorite bills to pass in the sense that it was kind of what I had envisioned I would be able to do when I came to the Senate. It's work across the aisle, work on tough issues, solve big problems. So I do appreciate that I had that experience.
And you were successful in the Senate, but when we talk about the House, we're getting into another area. And I know you can't speak for them, but it failed in the House last session, and so far this session, it hasn't advanced in committee in the House. You don't speak for the other body, but what are the concerns or the holdup there?
I think, with the split House, things can be tricky. Everybody can see that, everybody can feel that. And so there's just a little bit of a trust issue, and you're sort of seeing that bubble over into policy and lawmaking. So we're going to work within the parameters that we have. It's a tied House. So, of course, I would always encourage bipartisanship, and I highly recommend taking the approach we did in the Senate. I'm in the majority. I don't need to invite somebody from the minority party to my bill to pass it. However, I wanted to, and I think it's that sort of a spirit that would help in the House. But I think they'll get there. I mean, we're seeing a lot of how the sausage is made moments right now, and it's it is a little bit messy. It can be contentious, but the process is moving, and it's moving through. And I do have hope that the House will be able to pass this.
You mentioned the process. So where does your bill stand now?
Yeah, so because it was introduced in the first year of the biennium, our bill is alive and it sits in the House. So we don't need to pass it again in the Senate. We did our job. We led on the issue, and it's over in the House now, and it's really up to them to decide what to do with it.
All right, well, given the atmosphere that we're in right now, what do you think the chances are of your bill making it across the governor's desk this session?
I think it's better this year than it was last year. Last year we hit some sort of unexpected roadblocks that we just didn't anticipate. We thought, we had bicameral, bipartisan meetings every week. And so I think we thought that was sort of a recipe for success in both chambers. But like you said, I can only really work on the chamber that I represent. So in the Senate, again, we did our part, pass it over to the House, and it didn't make it. But this year feels a lot different. There's been a shift. I do have faith that this will get across the finish line.
All right, well, Senator, I look forward to seeing how that progresses.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
When red lights flash, you must stop. That's the message behind a student safety bill the Senate passed with unanimous support this week. Senator Ann Johnson Stewart's bill, Senate File 3623, says drivers must stop when a school bus activates its flashing lights. The bill comes after the state's Court of Appeals found that the current law only requires drivers to stop for school buses if their stop arms are fully extended.
We are hearing reports from across the state that drivers know they can be let off from citations if they speed past the school buses with stop arms only partially extended. A large number of our school buses now have cameras and have captured very disturbing footage of vehicles speeding past children.
This is about keeping our kids and grandkids safe when they're loading and unloading on a school bus.
This is a good cleanup of our language. As we saw, the appellate court ruled that a driver did not have to stop, even though he was within 20 feet of the school bus, as kids were getting ready to embark, because the stop arm was only halfway out. I don't know if it needed to be oiled. I don't know why it wasn't all the way out. But what I do know is because of our current law, this offender was not charged appropriately for not stopping at the school bus when the lights were flashing, but the arm was only halfway out.
Senator Johnson Stewart says there was no opposition from any group to the bill, and it passed with unanimous support in the Senate on a vote of 67-0. It now waits for a vote in the House. Our next guest knows a thing or two about passing legislation in the House. Senator Amanda Hemmingson-Yager joins me to talk about her priorities this session. Senator, welcome to Senate Spotlight.
Thank you.
And I guess welcome to the Senate in general. So let's talk about you. Your background is in science, biology and genetics. So how did you get into politics?
That's a great question, and it's always fun talking about because it really has been a journey. So I got really interested into genetics in 10th grade with DNA fingerprinting for forensic science. So I decided to go to school, get my bachelor's in that, and then get a master's in that as well. And what I found was working in the lab space, there's a lot of really great work happening at the bench, but it wasn't necessarily translating into smart policy or effective laws. And I thought I could be kind of this bridge because I could kind of start, I was interested in policy, but also an expert in genetics. And found there wasn't a lot of jobs in that. So I kind of just started working with my union, and through the process of working on and getting lobbying and getting paid parental leave for state employees passed, really wanted to get more into policy. So I went back to school for a second master's in policy, and then just kind of got more involved in my community, more involved with my union. And then 2022 happened, where Senator Kent retired, Representative Sandell retired, Representative Zhang moved to the Senate next door. So it really was just kind of a really cool opportunity for me to see if I could help make a difference for my community. And it worked out, and here I am.
Yeah, you mentioned your journey and you mentioned all of those representatives. So we know you were previously in the House. So what inspired you to get your seat in the Senate?
Yeah, I love being in the House. It was really fun to make all the connections there, and it was a really great place for me to get started in my political career. Last summer, we had our senator resigned suddenly. So after talking with the community, talking with my family, talking with other colleagues, just really felt compelled to kind of take that step to run for the Senate seat that had been vacated, and kind of leave the district also in good hands. We had some really good people that were ready to step up for 47A. So it all just kind of worked out, and just really wanted to make sure I did the best to represent the community.
Are there any differences you're finding between working in the House versus the Senate and Senate versus the House?
I think the biggest difference is just size. It's kind of a smaller workplace because you have half the number of colleagues, right? There are some decorum differences. There's some order of operations differences from what I'm used to hearing, like when the House begins their sessions versus when the Senate begins their sessions, but all typical things that you learn while coming to a new workplace.
Yeah, as I hear it, the House starts earlier than we do, so it's nice sleeping in a little bit more, perhaps, or you can use that time to get ready. So along those lines, is there anything that you learned or developed while working in the House that you think will serve you in the Senate or give you an edge?
Yeah, I think my experience in the House really prepared me well for the Senate. The ability to know how a bill goes from an idea through the committee process, through working with advocacy organizations, lobbyists, constituents, and then getting it to the floor and passing it, or the conference committee process, or the omnibus bill committee process. All of those experiences, I think, help definitely shorten the learning curve coming to the Senate. And then just, I was able to make relationships with senators ahead of time. So I think really it just set me up for really hitting the ground running and catching up very quickly in the Senate.
You've talked a lot about your ties to your community, and you're doing this for them, and that's what inspires you in your work. So since you're so tied in, what would you say are the biggest issues facing Minnesotans right now?
That's kind of a complex question, just given the environment we're in right now. So South Maplewood and Woodbury is very concerned about, access to affordable health care. We care deeply about our environment and addressing climate change. We want to make sure that we have good education for everybody. We also have our PFAS issue and want to make sure that we're taking care of our drinking water. And then if you take a step back, my community is also really concerned about what's happening at the federal level. So when it comes to legislative priorities this session, I try to think of different goals kind of each session. And for this year, it's kind of protect, respond, and recover. So I want to make sure that we're, protecting the laws that we have in place that are helping Minnesotans, like paid Minnesota leave. I want to make sure we're responding as best we can to the threats of Medicaid cuts and the cuts to SNAP we've had, and the attacks on childcare and making sure we get childcare more affordable, and the tariffs affecting people's ability to buy groceries. And then we also need to recover because we did just have a really traumatic few months with ICE coming in and really disrupting our community, impacting our public safety, impacting our businesses, and impacting our citizens. So that's kind of where I'm thinking this year, and looking forward to doing the best I can to represent Woodbury and South Maplewood.
Along those lines, this year is a unique time in the Senate. We have budget constraints, a shorter session, we have really tight voting margins. So what are you hoping to set the groundwork for this session or get passed?
Yeah, I think, again, I kind of come back to my values and the committee values and seeing how we can do the most good we can in what time we have. One thing that I'm working on right now is a continuation of something I started working on in 2023-24 with cryptocurrency kiosk machines. And they're kind of a little box for fraud. They're targeting our senior citizens. This bill originally came to me from Woodbury Police Department because they were seeing a lot of scams with our seniors. And it's kind of gotten to a point now where we're just ready to ban them. And so I've been really fortunate, and again, the timing is just working out to have a close relationship with the housework that's being done, talking to commerce people and new senators over here to really, again, it's just one thing that we could do that I think would make a big impact for public safety and for our seniors when it comes to these crypto kiosk machines.
You talked about wanting to be a bridge. Maybe now you can be our bridge between the Senate and the House for bills like that. So we know your district, they know you. You've represented them for a while, especially in the House. But what about the Minnesotans that are meeting you for the first time now that you're here in the Senate? What do you want them to know about you?
I would say I'm still a scientist at heart. I am very thoughtful and comprehensive when I approach my bills and any bills really that come before me. I love to get different types of information from differing perspectives. So I gather all my variables, collect my data set. It helps me make the best conclusion looking at all the different angles so we can have really robust, comprehensive, and thoughtful policy. And I also, tease that I'm kind of a nerd because I still love being in genetics and being in science. But yeah, it's a privilege and an honor to be representing, not only South Maplewood and Woodbury, but, Minnesotans as a whole too.
Senator, I have a final question for you, and it's about your earrings. So during your swearing-in ceremony, you had purple butterfly earrings. Today, you have yellow butterflies. Is there a significance behind the butterflies?
So the purple ones were a gift from my daughters and my husband. These butterflies, I think I found at the Renaissance Festival. But again, with the community being very much into the environment, butterflies are an excellent example of pollinators. So the more we can encourage pollinator plants and native flowers helps butterflies, which helps our whole ecosystem. And then I just think they're kind of a cool metaphor, if you will, right? So like they start as a caterpillar and they metamorphosis into a butterfly. So it's just kind of, for me, it's a sign of spring, my favorite season. They also kind of bring just hope and a joy. So I just love butterflies.
They're on a journey just like you are.
Yeah.
Senator, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time.